Hello, welcome back. I'm Trevor Price, and this video is all about the best questions to ask at a University Open event. Universities often have open days or open evenings whereby prospective students can go along either physically to the campus or perhaps a classroom or a lecture hall, or online where you can chat online using an instant messaging facility to academics who are running the courses that you're interested in. And this video is all about asking the right questions at that time and getting the most from that event so you can make the best choice for the best course and the best university for you. So the first thing to ask is really what subjects are included in the course that you're interested in. So whether you're interested in accountancy, mechanical engineering, history, finance, whatever the subject is. The course that you will eventually study will be made up of different modules or different parts, different subject areas that you have to cover in order to graduate with that degree. So different universities, even if the title of the degree is very similar, might have different subjects, different core subjects, different modules, different subjects, different topic areas that they will include within that degree. So for example, if you're studying accounting, then what exactly will you be studying in each and every class throughout the 3 or 4 years of your degree course? Also, who are the staff who will be involved in your course? Some universities have a staff team who are responsible for designing and developing all the learning materials, the assessment materials that you'll be using in the classroom or online classes. They might not be the same people who actually deliver the materials. Also, you might have some guest lectures come in to give specific talks about their pet subjects. But also you might have a team of academics who rely on part-time members of staff who aren't on campus or aren't around that often because they only work for a part of the year. Other professors might bring along their PhD students and other researchers to help them in delivering their classes as well. So the people you meet in this open event might not actually be the teaching team or the entirety of the teaching team that you'll experience whilst you're in the classroom or in the online learning environment. So it's important to understand the whole team who will be involved in there. And that's important because you get a flavour of who will be teaching you and how you feel about that person. Their teaching style will be different to somebody else, of course. And you'll also get a sense of who to ask questions of when you're in that class and perhaps you have a problem. And their ability to explain how friendly or not they are towards you and other students might be a factor in helping you choose which degree and which course to study. Also, think about the locations, the physical but also the online locations of the teaching and learning and assessment materials that you'll be engaging with, but also the support services and other facilities that you think you will need when you're a student. So it's not just the course material, how will that be delivered and presented to you? How will you have access to that material? Will there be a virtual learning environment like an intranet system, which is used quite often as a repository for learning, teaching and assessment materials? Will you have to go to a physical classroom at a physical campus? Will you have to do field trips in other parts of the country or other countries of the world? Will you have to engage with other support services, for example, the library service for that university? Where are the library buildings? What access will you have to library materials in the online environment? What about things like sports clubs, sports facilities, gyms, If you want to play tennis or squash or football or hockey or something like that, have they got the equipment and the facility to enable that to happen? Is there a good, vibrant student union building and student union present in the university? How active are they? Where are they? How can you engage with them? Think about other academic support services as well. Some universities have staff who can help you with essay writing, referencing, things like extenuating circumstances. So if something happens to you that impacts on your academic study, how can you access staff to help you around that? Things like religious support services as well. Perhaps there's a mosque on campus or a church on campus or something like that that you feel you want to tap into as well. So that's all about the physical and the online resources and how to access them. So ask questions around that sort of thing. Another big question is, how much will the course cost? How can you pay for the course? Is it by bank transfer? Is it by monthly installments? Do you have to pay per module in one lump? Do you have to pay for the whole course at the beginning of the year? Similarly, what about accommodation? Is there accommodation for you on campus if that's what you're looking for? Do you have to live on campus, or can you study from home? And that brings you on to questions about the timetable. What will your timetable look like? How will the course timetable be spread over the calendar year? Usually a university has an academic year which is shorter than a calendar year, usually about 40 to 45 weeks per year. How is your teaching or your learning or your assessment going to be spread over that academic year period? But also, month by month, how will your timetable change? How will your timetable change per day of the week, per week of the month, but also per month of the year? Also, will you be required to go onto campus, or will there be online learning events for you to access? How will that mix? How will that change over time? And also, how will your timetable be different in years 1, 2 and 3 and subsequent years of your study? So think about the daily timetable. Which hours of the day will you actually be timetabled to be accessing events and being engaged with those events and taking part in things that your tutors and academic staff want you to be engaging with? How will your timetable facilitate you to do other teaching and learning and assessment activities? So for example, if you need to work with groups of students for your assessments, for example, how will that be facilitated by the university? Think also about the daily timings of the class. For example, part-time students might have all their classes crammed into one very long day. If that suits you and your work patterns, that's great. But think about how that will feel as you work through that day. If you've got classes end to end from 9 o'clock in the morning until perhaps 8 o'clock in the evening, with only perhaps half an hour for a lunch break in between, how's that going to feel to you? Is that going to be comfortable for you? Is that going to be something you're going to be happy with and you're going to be able to engage with fully and be committed to? Perhaps it works really well because your employer only gives you a day off, so that's the only way you can study and that's what you need to do, and that's great. Think also, when you're in the open event, ask questions about staff availability. How can you access staff if you need to ask them questions about class content that you've covered, your teaching or learning materials, or the assessments that are coming up? No doubt throughout the course you'll have questions outside of the classes that you want to ask these staff. So how can you access the staff? Is it by email? Is it by phone? Is it by person? Where are their offices? What's their email addresses? What's the procedure for doing that? Think also about employment opportunities. Ask the staff about previous graduates from the course and what sort of jobs have they gone into once they've graduated. This gives a good indication of the standing of the university and the standing of the course, and how valuable the graduates of the course are to future employers. So also, if you're in an open event in a physical location, have a walk around the campus if you can, and have a look at the classrooms, have a look at the library, have a look at the sports and leisure facilities, and any other support services that are open and available to you. Have a chat with perhaps people from the finance department. Are there any sponsorship or bursaries available to students on these courses, and how can you access those if there are? Perhaps there's employers there who are interested in talking to students who are potential graduates on specific courses, because they're looking to recruit. Also, when you're walking around the campus and the classrooms and other buildings and facilities of the university, it helps you think about what it would be like to study there, especially if you can go there when it's term time and there's lots of students around. It'll give you a sense of how you feel and how comfortable you would be in that environment, and you can picture yourself being a student sat in that lecture hall or looking through the books on the shelves of the library, and see how you feel about that. And don't be pressured into making a decision there and then, because normally you have a few days after these open events to make a decision and think about all those answers to all those questions that you've asked the academic staff and support staff of the university, and compare it with other universities. I would strongly suggest you go and visit at least 2 or 3 universities with different courses. Perhaps focus on 2 or 3 particular courses that you're interested in and target the universities that you think are suitable for you. Go to their open events, ask similar questions, and then you can compare the answers you get for those similar questions, but also the feelings you get and how you feel about walking around the campus. How did you feel when you talked to the academics, when they responded to your questions? Were they friendly, welcoming and warm to you, or were they closed and cold and really couldn't be bothered? Hopefully this video's given you some help for you and your friends or family who come with you to the open events, to help you make a good choice for the right course and the right university into which you can become a first-class graduate. Good luck. If you've liked this video, please give me the thumbs up in the comments below, ask me any questions, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. There's lots of videos to help you with your study skills to become a first-class student. Thank you. Bye.